Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Inga Bielińska is a master certified coach who works with leaders all over the world who undergo change, both organizational and individual, and desire to thrive managing remotely and culturally diverse teams. Motivational, passionate, dynamic are the words that often describes her coaching style as she partners her clients to achieve their goals. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mel, and today, oh my gosh, I want to welcome my friend, Inga Bielińska, and she is right now in Silicon Valley, California, USA. What a place to be. Welcome to the show, Inga.
Mel, thank you for having me, inviting me, and as well, this is a nice encounter after actually a few years we've known each other digitally,
right.
Because we have never met face to face.
It's true.
It's true. But I think we go back, I would be like, 2017 or 2016 when we actually get in touch.
That's right. So I've been following you. Again, congratulations on being MCC. It's a beautiful journey. And I think that's where we're going to kick off, right? This interview. Tell us about that coaching journey. How did it all begin for you?
If I'm honest, it didn't begin with coaching. It actually began with me being a manager, a really bad one. I had my own business. And this business was language school. It was, I think, 2005, 2008. I started it after I came back from United Kingdom when I was living for a few years.
Okay.
It was a good business. I had a really good business idea. I thought that if I pay well my people, everything would look great, and it didn't. Like the teachers and translators, they were leaving me on and off, and I couldn't just get the right crowd. But luckily at the time, I met, I would say mentor, but there was my client at the same time, but he became the mentor, and he told me, business idea, it's not everything. You need to concentrate on being a good leader as well, like leading people, not only being strategic about making money, but being strategic about people. And actually he introduced me to a person who became my first coach.
Wow.
So around 2008, 2009, I was a client of coaching, and it changed my life. So naturally I am extremely goal oriented, goals over people, thinking as well. I come from the family of business owners, so business is as well something which is important for me. And everything what was in coaching and then becoming a coach leader myself, it was so far away from my natural behavior, and I managed to to change. Then I thought, that's a magical tool, that's interesting, and I got so interested that at a certain moment I started to doing some coach trainings, like a short 1-2 trainings in coaching. And then my husband graduated MBA executive, and the university graduated in, gave him a voucher for postgraduate studies in coaching. And he said, I don't want to do it. And actually I graduated officially as a coach in 2011. 2011. But I had some experience before based on some shorter coaching trainings. But that's officially the beginning of my journey. And it's been like decade now after official starting it. So it's the good pinnacle of this journey to become MCC in 2021 as well.
Definitely, especially in a time as this. I hear from talking to a lot of our coaching buddies, our coaching peers, right? The times are getting tougher everywhere around the world, obviously. But coming back to you, Inga, it's just so refreshing to hear. You said that you were a good manager, but then, you had this different areas in
No, let's be honest, I wasn't a good manager, a good leader. I was really bad leader, but I was a good business person, like salesperson. I'm really good at sales, but managing people, it wasn't my thing. Yeah? So yeah, and coaching helped me.
Yeah, so I'm sure there are people listening into this call, right? Who's like, but I'm already coaching. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard this as well. It's like, this is coaching, isn't it? So to you, in that mind of that manager already successful, okay, let me clarify that, successful as a business person, maybe not so successful in the relationship of things. How do you realize that? Did you get feedback?
To be honest, there was a feedback loop because people were leaving me. I had the contract and I couldn't, team members didn't stick long enough to the team. So that was the feedback loop. And then I think mentors as well, and this particular mentor, he gave me this important feedback, that it's not all about that, that I still think that my biggest strength and my biggest weakness is still that I'm so much goal oriented, because whenever I'm in stress, goal orientation is just taking over everything else. So when I hear people who tell me like, I'm already coaching, I would say, before I did this proper longer school of coaching and I did shorter courses, I thought as well that I was coaching. But I think this is ongoing process. You need to have very good foundations to understand practice and so on. And then MCC is International Coach Federation certification. So when we look at these credentials, it is designed to force coaches to educate themselves, to get mentor coaching and supervision on the way. And this is a smart move, because I am MCC right now, but the journey is not finished yet. There's still plenty of things I want to work and learn and deepen in my practice as a coach.
Yes. Let's set those goals in place. Love to hear what happened, right? So you became a coach, certified one, and then what happened through that decade? Tell us a little bit more, at least in the start of that journey.
When I think about the beginning of this decade, I actually, and that's the solopreneur mindset, or business owner mindset I have. I thought that I need to invest a lot in marketing, and one part of the marketing is actually networking.
Yes.
So I became the part of the local ICF, to the level that after a few years I was a vice president of a chapter in Poland, because I was living in Poland at the time. I was involved as well in the board, like on an international level. It was Europe and Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia board as well. So I participated in that. So actually, I dedicated a lot of time into marketing through getting to know people. And that was the moment, this first 3 years, which helped me realize that a lot of people who graduated from coaching courses or schools and who didn't become successful as coaches, it is not usually the problem of coaching skills, but this is the problem of their business skills. Because they think that they will, sit and the clients will knock at their door and say, hi, that's you, or you are a coach, I want to work with you. There's actually as much, I think that at the beginning, if I think about these 3 years, when I think about my work as a coach, 80% of that was just action towards getting to know people, becoming the member of ICF, marketing my skills, educating people through workshops, writing articles as well. I wrote a lot of articles about coaching at the time, like on internet, but as well published in different magazines, business magazines. So, and then after I think 4 to 5 years, this ratio switched a lot. And then I decided to move to US with my family in my 40s. And the ratio again switched, and I had to spend it was shorter this time, because I've got already, I was a PCC coach. I had some international cooperations as well on my side. So it took me about 12 months to switch the ratio. But every time you change something, you start a new journey, you have to think of a business person as well, yeah. And coaching per se, it is just this, like probably the small amount of time you spend on being a coach. Yeah, you have to do this marketing, networking, sales thing in order to become successful. That's how I look at this time. But it was a great time. I met a lot of wonderful coaches in Poland, in Europe, in Asia, in United States as well. I was one of the co-organizers of the ICF conference in Malmo, Sweden. It was the combined effort of Swedish, Finnish and Polish ICF board. So it was a great time, yeah. And I still believe that one of the best assets of every coach, they are fellow coaches and other people who work as coaches as well. And we can help each other, we can learn from each other, and sometimes we can form like partnerships.
All of that and more, I'm sure. I'm just curious to ask you this, Inga. Now being an established coach, now MCC, will you change anything or tweak anything, or will you still be working a lot on your business?
I work less, or I would say I work differently. I still spend regular amount of time, if I think about business, amount of time on LinkedIn, because that's the source of marketing for me. I still spend a decent amount of time on writing, just to establish some kind of authority. I publish in Forbes and Newsweek on a regular basis. As well, I try to, if somebody invites me like you, I try to speak about coaching and the kind of publicity which is necessary as well, of course. However, the biggest changes is in my work as a coach. I think that every training I took since, the beginning of the journey, in any specific tool I learned, any mentoring or supervision I had, changed me as a coach and helped me to fully, I say fully with caution, because I still believe that we are in this journey. So it's not like 100%. I think it helped me understand better coaching competences and understand what it means during the session and what it means to hold the space for a person or to show up fully present in the coaching session. And I think that that's what changed the most, because business, I think I have this. Actually, some of my friends told me that you should start, the school for coaches, but how to run their business, because you know how to do it. You've done it in a few different countries. Okay, that's a good idea. However, this is something as I said, I come from the family of business owners. So probably I've got a little bit of this in my DNA. That's why it is easier. However, what really changed is my method. It's my tool set or skill set as a coach. And this is, of course, thanks to wonderful mentors I've had on my way. So if I think about, the people who helped me through this time, that's invaluable help.
Yeah, totally. I've been having chats with coaches on this particular topic, right? What is the balance, right? We have mentors and supervisors to help us in our coaching presence and working towards coaching excellence, right? And then we don't often have the same on the other side. Business mentors or people who have run enterprises for a long time to be our advisors. So that is that split that you were saying, right? Even as you became an MCC, and now your splits are shifting as you move along, right? I'm just curious, if someone's in the midpoint of that plane where it's like, oh, it's neither here nor there, my business is not rocking, and then on the other side, my skill sets are okay, it's moving along. What would you think would be a little advice for them?
A few things. So let's start with the way people work as coaches. And that's probably something I would have changed if I could go back, because I think that up to the PCC accreditation, I took like mentoring only before the exam. Like I needed this 10 hours and that was necessary. And I would change it, I would change it immediately if I could. Yeah. So whenever you are in your journey, have a regular catch-ups with mentors. You can find great mentoring groups. Yes, it doesn't have to be one-on-one mentoring, if, for example, if it's not affordable for you right now, but you can find groups which are much more affordable with, coaches on different levels as well, which is, another great asset because you will meet coaches. And now with online sources, you can have such groups. I would invest quicker into supervision as well, because it actually opens you and helps you understand what biases and what hidden, your own agendas you bring to the session that was going on between you and your and the client at the time. So invest in this, just to learn, practice, find a mentors, find mentors, not one but a few. Go to the supervision and just try to focus on process of becoming a better coach. This is one thing. In terms of business, this is the simplest thing I can do. Just you need to allocate time for marketing. Marketing meaning being present on LinkedIn, maybe having your own Facebook group. If you do B2C or B2H, as people now say, like business to a human being. I actually do B2B mostly. I work with organizations, not with individuals, like in terms of selling. Yeah, so it's slightly different. But I know that people who are successful for selling to individuals, they have their Facebook groups. And it takes time to be administrator of such a group. So think about it like, okay, it's like work. People go to work and they spend 8 hours a day at work. So I have to allocate time for this marketing. And maybe I look, well, okay, how many sessions I have per week? I have 5 now. Yes. So the rest of the time, 35 hours, it's my marketing. Or if it's the side hustle, like the business on the side, I can allocate, 10 hours for that a week. So if I do 3 hours of coaching, 7 hours is marketing. I will write about coaching. I will network with other coaches and business people. I will go to see my clients. I will try to, as well, become present somehow on LinkedIn or comment something. And whatever you're going to do, when I say about marketing, I don't really say about like buying leads or, this kind of advertising on LinkedIn and advertising on Facebook, because to be honest with you, I don't think that in this kind of business, that advertising actually works. Just, think about the time you want to work as a coach and a decent amount of time. As I said, at the beginning, for me, it was 80% of the time I allocated for coaching work. It was marketing.
Thank you, Inga. And I often say this, you can treat your coaching business, as you say, side hustle. I call it a hobby. You can treat it as a hobby and it will often give you hobby results. Or you can treat it like a real business, right? And it will give you business results. So obviously not as simple as we say it. It's like running your own shop. If you had a shop selling ice cream, no one knows about your ice cream shop, even though how good that ice cream is. They got to understand and have tasted your flavor.
Yeah, exactly. You're actually right. And I would like to use this medium, your podcast, and say it aloud. It is doable. When I was moving in my 40s to US 3 years ago, everybody told me that, no, Inga, it's just like, and to California, are you
crazy? Say it.
So many coaches out there. It would be like, how can you start from the scratch in the foreign country? I was like, let me try. Let me see. This is a great opportunity. If it won't work, at least we will have family adventure, and so on. And it worked. So that's something which I firmly stood by. Being a coach is being a solopreneur. So you have your business. Of course, you don't have to do everything by yourself. If you have some funds, which usually at the beginning people don't have, but if you have some funds, you can hire, I don't know, like a graphic design or something. But with tools we have available right now, like Canva, for example, which is like easy peasy tool for everybody who is not a graphic designer to create their own visual
Sure.
marketing.
That's
You
true.
can do everything. So, think as a business owner, not only as like, you owe your clients two things. One is craft your style and the art of coaching and your methods of work. But as well, you owe them visibility. They need to find you because they need you. They don't know that they need you yet, but they need to find you.
They need to find you. I love it. Inga, I want to celebrate your decade of coaching with this question. In that wonderful decade, what are a couple of insights that you want to share that can really help the coach listening in today on their journey?
I'm going to say something which most of the coaches are angry with when I say it, but please don't work for free.
Wow.
If you want to work for any kind of charity or non-profit organization, just to be a volunteer, that's great. But a lot of beginning coaches, they say like, yeah, I will coach for free just to get hours. I have never heard about the hairdresser who finished any kind of certificate and said, I will cut you for free. No, they go for work.
Yeah.
Immediately they make money on it. Or I would say even earlier, they do apprentice or internship and they make money on that, maybe less, but they do. Because actually coaching education is expensive, not only in terms of money, but in terms of time. So please value the effort and finances you put in this training and immediately charge. It doesn't have to be like, the highest possible amount of money you can charge. And as well, you will learn probably on the way that your fees will be different depending on the client. It's like, you will do as well, work for volunteers, and that's great. I still do it, and I still love doing it because that's the way I give back to the society. But this is a different mindset when you are a volunteer. So this is the insight I would like to share, like the foundation.
Okay.
Then I think actually, and that might be useful for people who don't have this business owner mindset yet. Maybe the training you need to do or learning you need to do is in terms of sales. Why not buy yourself a good book about selling process, or maybe go to Coursera or Udemy or whatever place you can have courses and just learn how to sell services. Why not? This is, I think selling is like a skill which can be acquired. It's not some magic or something you were born with. You can learn it. So if you want to be 100% sure that you will make it, that after 2 years of trying, you will be successful, because I think this is the time frame we usually take into consideration, just learn how to sell. And something which I already said, find mentors and supervisors from the day one and just have some kind of regularity. It could be once a quarter, it could be once half a year, it could be once a month. Everything depends on what you can afford, or what it depends as well on the amount of work you do from the beginning. But the work with mentor and supervisor will be invaluable in making yourself a better coach.
So good, Inga, especially your first point.
Do you agree with me, by the way?
Yes, I do. Of course, there could be the first chemistry chat that is not chargeable because they want to get to know you as a coach, right? But I totally agree. I remember this one time when initially I started coaching friends. I did not have any clients, so I said, hey, would you want to? And then the friend said, yeah. After a while, I saw this person not being so committed, and even shifting the appointments. And I started to ask them. I got brave and I asked them, what's happening, right? I thought we had an agreement here. And this person said this, that will change my life. She said, I was doing you a favor. And that to me just was like a light bulb moment to say, oh, I thought I was doing you that favor to charge you so little and give my 100%, and you were not there present, and you canceled on me and all of this stuff. I'm sure you've got your little war stories as well.
That's a great story. Actually, the thanks for sharing that. Yeah, because if you undervalue the work you do,
Oh, wow.
people
Yeah.
will feel that they do you a favor, but which is not true. It could be partnering. Yeah, they need you, you need them. It is the power of coaching. It's partnering, and you are thinking partner to your client, and so on. It's nobody has like power over anybody. Like this is the balance in the relationship. My stories are less connected with money when I think about this journey, and more connected with me as being extremely goal oriented, taking responsibility too much during coaching process at the beginning. Yeah, so that's why when I say about supervisors and mentors, I think that they would tell me quicker that I do it. Yeah, like at the beginning, I couldn't work a lot as a coach. I could have maybe like 3 sessions a day. Now I actually, I work all day as a coach, to be honest. Yeah, and I sometimes I have like 6-7 sessions a day, and I don't feel this tiredness that I feel at the time, because I took over responsibility, and I want to make sure that my clients will get there and they will have this plan. And I was like working double during the session, which is a very good, I think the like early warning system that something is not okay in this relationship. But what was wake up call for me was that clients who had great successes when we worked together, when we stopped working, they collapsed. And I can give you the example of the story, which is probably the most painful for me. It happened within the first 2 years of my coaching practice. And I supervised it a few times, because it's still, I still have it in my heart. I remember working with the individual contributor in marketing field, and this lady really wanted to become a leader. She wanted to be a manager, and we were working together for I think 6 months. And within this time, we come up with a really good plan, and I use we on purpose, because it was, I would say, even I came up with a really good plan. Like I asked the questions so she could see what is the really good plan.
Yeah.
And she got promoted. But then I learned that when we finished this cooperation, and she was promoted and she was successful. Yeah, it happened within 6-10 months. But year after, I learned that she was fired, because without the support, like extra power, motivation, and my accountability and my responsibility here, and like focusing on her, like I was even taking responsibility to this level that I ask her, call me if you've done this, or message me if you've done this. I don't do this stuff like that. It is not my role to be responsible for what the clients do. It is their experiment. If they don't do something, it is lesson. What happened there? What is the challenge? What's the obstacle? How you can plan for this challenge next time? Yeah. But then I think about it, because I believe that partially it was. I don't want to use the word fault. Yeah, but that was some kind of coaching failure. Yeah, you cannot take responsibility for your client. You cannot be more engaged into this process. Yeah.
It's very interesting you say that, because I've been asked that question as well. It's like, how involved can you be with your client, to the point that they sometimes use you as a crutch, right? It's like, without you, they will not succeed. And then I have spoken to coaches who have worked with individuals for long contracts, year after year after year. They keep on signing the same client up. And, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that as we are talking about this, because obviously there are a couple of schools of thoughts there saying, on one side saying the client needs a bit of a rest. The client needs to be more accountable to themselves while they're not there with you for a bit of time. So there's these bits where I'm sure that could be a question inside the coach's head. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
It would be easy if you have like this one size fit all solution for that. Yeah, like
yes,
narration. If you work for 6 months, have this length of like break, like mathematical formula. But I don't think something like that exists. And I would say the worst answer ever, it depends. However, I like my clients being independent after the process of coaching. And sometimes, usually the end of the process of coaching is spent on thinking like, okay, if you meet some challenges, what will be your action plan? What the things you can activate? So I even talk about it. Yeah, like, this is a time of coaching when you had this reflection period for yourself. Yeah, you had this like 30, 45, 90 minutes on a regular basis for yourself. So how are you going to plan that without the coach? And so on. However, I have clients who I had like a longer processes some time ago. And then I do something which I call like intervention, like every quarter or even half a year, they call me and say, could we have just session because I need to vent off, I need to think about something. And it's like pure intervention, is not entering the same process. It happened to me time that I was working with people like, 1 year for a few months, and then we had like 1 year break or even longer, and again for some time because the circumstances changed. Yeah, I actually very often, because one of the thing I feel I specialize in is helping people to get promoted. Yeah, the story the story I told you about the failure resonated with me so much that I actually help. I sometimes I say that I help engineers become leaders and leaders become executives. So sometimes it happened that I help individual contributor who become first-time manager, and then they come back to me. Decade is a long time. They come back to me after a few years, and they say, "Okay, I'm ready now to go from, for example, senior management, which I got by myself, but now this is this jump from senior management to executive level." And then this is like a completely new relationship because either all might be similar, it is somehow different. Yeah. So yeah, I happen to work with the same people after some time. I happen to do these interventions on a regular basis if the client requires it, but it's not very often. Like it's not weekly intervention. It's not, as I said, a quarter, half a year, once a year, depends on the context. Yet I want to be true to myself. I want to feel that my client is equipped with everything they need to deal with some challenges in their lives. Yes, and that's something I'm really mindful about. And this is something I usually say to my clients at the very beginning. For me, successful coaching is not reaching your goals. It's going beyond as well. That whatever challenges or struggles you're going to encounter, you will have at least some resources you can start with.
Beautiful. I resonate with that, and it's like flowing on the river with a client on a beautiful little boat. And at times that you need to stop on the side, take a bit of a rest, take some selfies, have a bit of food, and then go back on the river again. And this time the rapids are a little bit more choppy. And so when the rapids are choppier, well, you need those resources as you were talking about. So yeah, I totally am flowing with you with that, Inga. The future of coaching, it's a mixed bag there. On one side, there are coaches who say, oh my gosh, there's just so many coaches out there in the market already. How can I get business? And then there are coaches who say, let's invite more coaches in because we don't have enough out there. And if we focus on that super niche, we'll be able to reach more variety of people so that they are exposed to coaching. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what that future of coaching looks like.
To be honest, I don't think that market is saturated with coaches right now. Yeah, maybe people go to schools, but not everybody becomes a coach afterwards. Yes, so there are people who go to school and want to be like better managers and so on. No, I'm not worried about that. Oh my God, there's so many coaches. What I'm worried about that sometimes in certain countries, it is not actually in US, but in Poland, from time to time, there was some, particularly bad PR about coaching, that it's like, usually when it was mixed with motivational speakers, that this is like a scam and taking money for anything and so on and so on. So that's what I'm worried about. And I think that the future of coaching would be moving towards more, I would say, professionalism of this industry. On every level. So that's why I want to get involved into supervision as well and become supervisor myself, because I think that that's like with psychotherapy. Yes, in good psychotherapy, you've got supervisors. So in good coaching, you need to have supervisors as well. And I know the benefits on coaching supervision on myself. So
Yeah.
I can actually assess for that. So professionalism of this coaching industry is one thing. And if I could do something to help make it happen, like all over the world, that there will be no question, what does the coach do? Oh my God, that's something weird. What do you just ask questions? No, so I hope that in the future there will be no question whatsoever. That people coaching would stand for like everybody. Now, when you say psychotherapist, nobody is going to think of what they do. Oh my God, that's some weird stuff. Yeah. No, so that's what I wish for. I strongly believe that the future of coaching is digital. So, and I think that pandemic and lockdowns we experience made this shift very quickly. And not over the phone so much, but actually using tools like we are using right now, like Teams or Zoom or WebEx or whatever you can use, or there are special platforms which hire coaches and they have their own video conferencing tools. So the future of coaching is like that. And as well, when I think about it, I think about that coaching will have a lot of different specialization. And what sometimes people comment like, oh my God, what is this? Like soul coaching, or what is this? Like this. I don't judge. I think that if there is a decent training and philosophy and methodology behind something, and people actually get trained and learn and work towards, and they do it because they care about their clients, and they do it because this message they have, it just relates to them or vibrates with them, it's great. I'm a business coach and I feel good in this field. Yeah. However, I never despise colleagues who work in the field which is more, I would say, spiritual or elusive or something I don't fully understand, as long as it is connected with a good learning and good training. And I think that there will be more specializations like this, or like different kinds of coaching, like coaching couples, or coaching of the third phase of a career, like coaching for retired people. I can imagine the specializations, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I think that would be great. Yeah, that of course we will work towards the same models probably, and we work the same psychology behind it. However, they would give this flavors and elements, and the sense of variety as well. So these two things, making this job professional, really like an industry with all the advantages and disadvantages which come with that, because probably it will become more. If something is professionalized, it will require you buying even more memberships or certificates and so on and so on, or there will be more obligations behind it. And I personally think it's okay, because you have to make the difference between people who are not certified or not learned or not taught well how to be coaches from those who invest time and money in their education, and the specialization, and everything will be digital right now. That's how I see the future. I know that Marshall Goldsmith actually tries to create the app with his avatar, that the coaching would be done by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will develop in the field of coaching.
Definitely.
Still will be people who would like to talk to coaches, and to have this human to human contact, even though it might not be as good as artificial intelligence sometimes. Because I think that if you code this well, they can, artificial intelligence can ask brilliant questions and make this like snap interventions and so on. Even better from coaches. I don't know. I just working with engineers, I think everything is possible.
Wow, it's a brave new world out there, and a lot of things that we can do in partnership with all of these intelligences, right? And I like what you said about the super niches, and we talked about it, the flavor, what you focus on. I'm curious how you found your flavor.
To be honest, at the beginning of my coaching career, I thought that I would work with women. entrepreneurs. That's what I thought, because I was a female solopreneur and business owner and so on. I thought, yeah, that would be natural transition.
Yeah,
And funny
natural.
happened. I actually got a lot of clients from like engineers and male, to be honest, not female engineers, but mostly male engineers. And I started to work with some big organizations all over the world, located in Europe, mostly with head offices somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
And then some of this transition just came, and I noticed like, oh my God, I actually marketed myself as the leader, as the coach for female leaders and female business owners and so on. But when I looked honestly at my client list, there was like 90% of guys, 100% engineers at the time. Now it's slightly different because I move as well to fintech, and through pandemic I started to work with medical field, which was eye-opening experience for me, and I love this part of working with doctors, with directors of the medical enterprises and services and so on. It's a completely new world, but very, very interesting as well for me. And then I had to do this transition, like I said, okay, probably I'm not the coach for women entrepreneurs so much, but I'm the coach for, and then the topic which showed up is engineer who wanted to be promoted. And somehow I got this speciality. And the first, I think, few years, it was mostly individual contributor to first leadership position. I even wrote 2 books about that, for in Poland from my business partner Zofia Kupczyńska. And then it was so close to my heart. But then these people started, looking for the promotion to executive level, or like VP level, or CISO level, depending, because tech world is there are a lot of startups, there are smaller enterprises as well, and so on. And this transition just came naturally, that I noticed that, I help engineers to become leaders and leaders to become executives. And when I started to talk about leaders becoming executives, a lot of different clients came as well to me. So I would say that this is the soft spot. This is something I feel the most confident working with. But clients come from different fields and with different areas. And even if they think, I want to work with you because I want to prepare to promotion, we still talk about self-confidence. We talk about managing up communication. We talk about executive presence, but it's so much about imposter syndrome, really. And and actually in States, the completely new era started for me, not only with this working with medical field, but as well that I really started to work with diverse pool of leaders. So I had privilege, for example, to have leaders from Latin America to become first executive in the organization. Or I work with the Asian community and Black community as well. So I think that being here in States for this last 3 years helped me so much as well to understand different layers of this kind of becoming promoted, and as well connected with diversity and inclusion, which is a huge topic when you think about the jump senior management to executive management. That I love it. I can learn a lot of things still, and I still feel that, oh my God, there's so many things I can learn from my clients, and so many things I can learn as a person as well as a coach.
It's a privileged position that we all have, don't you think? We come in, obviously we add value, and then we learn and we grow, and we even get more confident in serving our clients in a better way, in a more agile way, even in today's terms. I often seen you as that, Inga. It's how the outside world sees us and how we see ourselves. And I think that's the thing. And I would like to say that I see you as a powerhouse coach.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But now when we have this conversation, this is probably the insight I would give any budding or starting coach. Of course, have plans. I want to work with this group, but after some time, just be honest with yourself and have this audit of your clients and look at the what pool of clients, what pool of interest do you really attract? Are these people you thought you would work with, great, like market even further. But maybe this is something different. Yeah. I still, I still do a lot of work with women. As a volunteer, I am volunteer with coaching fellowship when I have a pleasure to work with female leaders from non-profit organizations from all over the world, which is actually, I think, a wonderful experience, for me. And I have the pleasure to meet such a great women, because, some time ago, I learned that if we want to be truly happy, we need to work at least 100 hours a year as a volunteer. And that's something I strive to. Yes, I do 1 hour as a coach for Girls on the Run, and 1 hour a week as a volunteer coach as well, sometimes more. But this 2 hours is a minimum. I try to be mindful about that as well. Yeah, just because I believe that, this giving back makes me happy as well. It's a little bit selfish, but it's a good selfish, I would say.
Definitely is. And self-care is a good selfish too. I also follow you on Facebook, and I see you with 4 km, 5 km, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where does Inga get the time to do that? And I remember those days, earlier days, you're telling me you get up really early. Is there that special time, that special balance, that self-care and all that you put yourself through? And that's what makes you that holistic, successful coach, huh?
If you asked me 10 years ago, my answer would be like, no. There were times when I was smoking cigarettes. I was really heavy smoker. And then, everything changed when my daughter was born, and my daughter is 12 right now. And I think that this mindset of like, you have to love yourself, and how can you love yourself? Yeah, by doing something good. But as well, I noticed that when I skip this time, or even walk, it doesn't have to be run, but it could be walk, or a short session at home with some kind of, I don't know, I like high intensity interval training right now, which is like 30 minutes, but you are whole sweaty, and I love it. Your adrenaline, but as well dopamine level and serotonin level, that just goes up. And then you're just ready for the day. So of course, I know that not everybody is the, a morning person. I am morning person. I didn't have to fight for that. It was like natural for me somehow. But, I pay price for that. If my family want to watch movies late at night, I'm usually sleeping on the couch. My husband is really, disappointed with me because he prefers evening. I prefer mornings. But still, I don't think that like this kind of sport I do is for everybody. But just, if you want to be a good coach, I think that you need to show like love and mindfulness to yourself in any way. It could be yoga for you. It's not yoga for me, but it could be yoga for you. It could be Tai Chi, or it could be, just walks, or it could be swimming, or it could be meditation daily. But whatever comes to your mind, which you can show love to your body and to your soul and to your mind, just do it. You say that you see it on Facebook, that I use Facebook as my own motivator, because Facebook got this idea of reminding you like what you've done a year ago, and I love it. Yeah, I don't like the concept of Facebook so much, but this is the element, because who would like, I don't even know how to set it on my calendar that it will remind me something from the year ago. I wake up, I see this like, oh my God, a year ago I was running, or a year ago I was doing something else, which was great, or hiking, or I did some exercises, and it gives me such a motivation. Yeah, this like, I'm consistent. There is a process somehow.
Yeah. And when I hear you say that, it makes me think of the wonderful coach that helps the coachee and reminds the coachee, affirms the coachee of their milestones and the celebration of the milestones, right? I think Facebook acts that way for us sometimes to kind of show us, oh, we've traveled the world. Oh, we have done this for ourselves, right? And I think a very good coach, like yourself, will do that.
Thank you. And likewise, now I believe I had the pleasure to work with you in one project, and I remember how much you shared your energy and your mindset and your, I don't even say it like this is like a spark. you share the spark with the groups we're working with. Yeah. And I think that you, not even through coaching, but for everything what you do, you share this with the world. Yeah. So as you said, this is a privilege, but that's as well some kind of duty we have. This is the way we serve the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my final questions is this, and I'm sure you know it. We ask powerful questions to our clients and ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your question that you want to leave behind for the audience in general?
A lot of clients come to coaching process with like goals, or which are more about that they are not there yet, or that they are not good enough somehow, that they have to work hard. And this element of acknowledging and celebration is very important for me. As I told you, I do voluntary work because I want to be happy. I do it for myself. I know that it's serving the world, but I do it for myself. And I love asking these questions to my clients. Whatever, like usually at the end of the session, like, what was this one thing you could do today? Small, teeny tiny thing which can bring you joy.
Wow.
Because, we live in a world which sometimes, even social media we discussed, they put us in this constant pressure of not being good enough, or not happy, or oh my God, they have better car or better house, or they have wonderful journey, or they have this great family in the picture and I don't have it, for example. Yes. So no, this mindset of what could be this one thing which can make you happy, which can bring you joy today. If you have this answer, just go and do it. It could be a great cup of coffee. It could be early sleep. It could be wonderful book. It could be phone call to your best friend or mom or your kid. Yeah, whatever you want to do, just do it. That would be my powerful question.
And for me, Inga, if I were to answer that, is to get on a call with my good friend Inga and have this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the start of my day, and I'm already complete for my day. Really. So, thank you.
So it's a good beginning. It's a good beginning. Yeah. I believe that you're going to have a lot of powerful and engaging conversations today.
It's such a pleasure to have you on the show, Inga. This is the time where I invite you to share with us some of your media handles, how the audience can get in contact with you.
If you look for me as a coach, I would invite you to go to LinkedIn. Yeah, just put Inga Bielińska. It's San Francisco Bay Area, and that's me. And please reach out. If just maybe write that you listened to Mel's podcast, and then I will know how we know each other. Yeah, because there are a lot of people who are as well trying to tell something on LinkedIn, which I never do. Yeah, so this is the place when you can find me the most. If you want to see less professional side of me, this is Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, this is usually the person I am. I write a lot about books because I'm a crazy reader. I read like a lot. Yeah, I'm honest with you. I read about 10 books a month. Yeah, so this is a lot. I know about that. I share books. I share board games, which I love playing with my family and friends. I share journeys. So it depends what you're looking for. If you look for professional suggestions, articles, pieces of advice, observations on leadership coaching and general development, this is LinkedIn. If you look for more private side, this is Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, beautiful. Any last thoughts that you have as we close this session?
I feel nourished after this conversation. Yeah, somehow. So thank you. This is my last thought. Yeah, and when you were talking to me, I thought like, oh my God, it's the high time to make this kind of interview with Mel and to ask him all of this question. So you have to think about if you have like 100 edition or 100 episodes, maybe it's a good idea to ask some coaches to ask you questions. What's the journey? How did you get it? What insights? Yeah, how you can share it? Because you are a master certified coach with a lot of experience, and I can as well say from my experience that you changed lives of people, and I saw it with my own eyes.
Thank you. Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind. Thank you again, Inga. It's been a pleasure. It just seems like you and me are just having a conversation with ourselves, right? And we sincerely wish you all the best.
Thank you. And really, I'm really grateful for this opportunity to talk to you and to talk to your followers.
Thank you. This has been the 100 Master Coaches show with Inga and Mel, signing off till the next time. Bye-bye. Take care.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.